Hello everyone, myself Kamna Singh, Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today we are going to discuss the multiplexing techniques, different type of multiplexing techniques in the computer network subset. So first of all, we have to understand what is multiplexing. Multiplexing is nothing but it is the multiple signals are transmitted simultaneously over a single medium, or you can say the single channel. You can see here in this particular example, suppose that there are in the network, there are 4 stations or the 4 inputs are there, and these are the multiplexer. There is in the multiplexing technique, there are hardware devices are used as a multiplexer. As you know, what is the main work of the multiplexer is that multiple inputs are there and the single output using the multiplexer. And at the receiver end, we are using the demultiplexing. In the demultiplexing, if you remember that demultiplexing or a demultiplexer hardware is used for the single input line with a multiple output line. So in the multiplexing technique in the computer network we are using here, there is a suppose that there are 4 number of stations are there. These 4 stations are generated their signals or messages are there, and these particular messages are of the different frequencies suppose, and these different frequencies are traveling over here in a channel, and this channel is called as a, you can say, what is channel? Channel is the portion of the path, or you can say portion of the link, whatever the communication from between the sender and receiver. As you know that the transmission media, what is the transmission media? That can be a guided or a unguided media. Guided means there is a wired communication is going on, and there is a wireless media means unguided media is there. Whatever media between the sender and receiver, that particular media, the portion of that particular media is called a channel. Fine. Now, you can say here that this is the physical link. You can say there is a wired media is there. This particular wired media is the portion of this particular path or a portion of this particular link is called the channel. So every time whenever we are transmitting, suppose that there is a signal like this and its frequency is F1, and again there is a frequency like this and there is a signal is F2, F3 and F4. So at that moment, this multiplexing technique, what is going on? There is a different channels will be there over a single medium will be there. So first channel, you can say channel 1, and channel 1 carried this frequency of F1, and the channel 2 carrying the frequency F2, channel 3 carrying the frequency F3 and so on. Fine. And at the time of the demultiplexer, this particular demultiplexing, multiple outputs will be generated. So you can say that the multiplexing is a technique for data combination for the multiple data streams are traveling over a single medium. That is what as a multiplexing technique. Now, here you can see here there is a n inputs. What is the meaning of n inputs? Means there is a different stations, or you can say the nodes are there. These nodes can be at the same network or a different network, and these inputs are generating by the number of stations are there. So there is in the multiplexer is using, and there is a one link, or you can say the transmission media is there. This one link and the n channels will be there, and you can see the portion of the path is the channel. So here again you can see here that is a transmission media with a different channels are transmitted. So actually what is going on, you can see a simple example you can take. Suppose that there is a cars. There is a car 1, car 2 and car 3, or whatever the vehicle you are using. You are coming coming to for the college. Fine. There is a car 1 and car 2, and these cars are going on to the highway, and they are coming with a different lane. This is coming from the different lane. Car 3 will be coming from the different lane, but at the highway, these car 1, car 2 and car 3 doesn't collide. They are using their separate way, even though the highway having a single road. Fine. So the same concept will followed here in a multiplexing technique. There are the n input signals are traveling over here, and the channels are portion of the path, and they are sharing the channel. These particular signal or these particular stations are sharing this signal. Fine. Now, the multiplexing is whatever multiplexing we are using, there is a two hardwares are there, that is a multiplexer and the demultiplexer. At the sender side, there is a multiplexer. At the receiver side, there is a demultiplexer. At the multiplexer side, at the sender side, multiple signals are traveling over here. This multiplexer combined this particular frequency or time slots and going to the shared medium. And at the demultiplexer end or a receiver end, you can say demultiplexer, some particular multiple signals are combined over here and getting their desired output in a multiple signal way. Now, what is the need of multiplexing? Main need of that, imagine that there is a 1000 stations are there or a 10,000 station over the network. We cannot afford that all these stations having a separate channel or a separate transmission media is there. It is very complex. So, as an exponential, it is very, very expensive. So, that's why we are using the multiplexing, so that all the multiple signals are traveling over a single or accessing the single medium. Now, what are the advantages? These are the advantages that more than one signal can be sent over a single medium, and the bandwidth is utilized. When the frequency division multiplexing we are using, so the bandwidth is maximum utilization of the bandwidth will be there. Now, these are the types of multiplexing: frequency division, wave division and time division multiplexing. Again, the time division multiplexing is of two types, that is synchronous and asynchronous tedium. In the synchronous tedium and the asynchronous tedium is also called as a statistical time division multiplexing. Now, one by one we go through it, all these multiplexing techniques. The first, frequency division multiplexing. In the frequency division multiplexing, multiple signals are traveling. Fine. Multiple signals coming to the multiplexer and it combined there, and there is a different. So, in the frequency division multiplexing, the input lines are there, these input lines and the channels are there. How we are going to create this? In the multiplexing technique, suppose there is a number of stations are there. These stations are what? Suppose there is a first station is there, first station, second station, third, fourth and fifth stations are there. These stations are transmitting multiple signals, and these multiple, in the frequency division multiplexing, you can see these messages are like the frequencies. These are the different frequencies. Whatever frequencies are there, you are transmitting. So, suppose in this particular, suppose there are the multiple signals are there or multiple stations are there. Fine. And this multiple station name is A, B and C, suppose. And there is a multiplexer, this multiplexer, and this A generated the F1 frequency, this generated the F2 and F3 frequency. Frequencies are there. Fine. Frequencies are nothing but it is a number of bits in a 1 second. Number of cycles completed in 1 second, that is called the frequency. As you know that, na, frequency is F equal to 1 upon T is there. Fine. Now, in the multiplexing, when the FDM technique we are going to use, there is a FDM technique, frequency division multiplexing technique. In this particular technique, these signals, these particular stations or nodes are transmitted different frequencies. These frequencies are traveling over the shared medium, and this shared medium is called as like, you can say there is a one channel and there is a frequency, then next channel and there is a guard band and then next. It means what? What is going on here? That is the F1 frequency is going on, F2 frequency and the F3 frequency. And these F1, F2, F3 is separated by the guard band. This is called the guard band. These guard bands are actually the unused frequency you are going through. and these guard bands are used for separating the different frequencies. So actually, which type of particular frequencies are going on when you are transmitting the message in this particular time? There is a first frequency, suppose this one, second frequency is there, and the third frequency. First, second and third. You can say here there is a F1, F2 and F3 is there, and this separation, this line is called the guard band. This is the separation of the guard band. That is the unused frequency. And now the unused frequency, and there is also a carrier frequency. The one more word is there, that is called as a carrier frequency. Carrier frequency is nothing but it is the highest frequency to encapsulate all these frequencies. Fine. So in the carrier frequency, you can say that is whatever the frequencies are going on, there is a one encapsulated carrier frequency which is higher than as compared to this totality of all the frequencies transmitted by the channel. So the if you are saying, and the next is the demultiplexer. Here the demultiplexer is there, and this demultiplexer having a different, these particular frequencies are multiple signals are coming over the demultiplexer, and then there is a single value is coming and the multiple values will be combined and output will be generated. In this FDM technique, if you are summarizing the FDM technique, actually all the stations are transmitting the signals, and then these particular signals having a channel, whatever the channels are there, actually the complete, it is a transmission media is there. All these frequencies are traveling like this, and this particular black line is show as a particular guard bands are there. These guard bands are the unused frequency for the separation of these particular frequencies. And the main work of the demultiplexer to generate the output values using the one single signal. Now, what are the advantages of FDM? The main advantages is used for the analog signal. What is the analog signal? Whatever I am communicating, this is the analog signal. And when you are communicating with the particular mobile, when you are sending some messages, there is a digital bit stream. So there are two types of signals, analog or a digital. Analog signal will be represented by the sinusoidal or a cosine waves, and particular digital signals will be transmitted as a square wave, or you can say there is a binary bit streams will be there. So there is a advantages, main advantages are FDM. FDM is generally used for the analog signal, and it is the process for the easy modulation is there. अभी भी आ तो नहीं उसमें. And then large number of signals. There is a large number of signals can be show the FDM. Fine. And the main disadvantages is there. It requires a high bandwidth. Why high bandwidth? Because the frequency you can see here. In the frequencies, every time the frequency, all channels getting the different frequencies. And these frequencies are going on. And next, we have to all these frequencies to be encapsulated so that by the secure transmission. So the carrier frequency is also required. So that's why this is the disadvantage, that it requires the high bandwidth channel. Bandwidth is nothing but it is the highest frequency minus lowest frequency. FH minus FL, you can say, the highest frequency minus lowest frequency. So it requires the high bandwidth, and if possible, if there is a crosstalk, then it suffers from these particular noise type. Now, generally, applications of FDM, generally it is used for the FM radio. You can listen the FM radios like the 92.4 FM or 92.1 FM. These FM radios are applicable with the use of the FDM techniques, or you can say the frequency division technique. Now, the next one is the wavelength division multiplexing. It is same as the frequency division multiplexing technique is used, only the signals are the light signal. Just like in the frequency division multiplexing, there is a frequencies are traveling, but in the WDM, optical signals are traveling, or a light signals will be traveling. So you can say the multiple optical signals are transmitted simultaneously over a shared medium. That is the WDM. And you can calculate lambda equal to C upon F. Lambda is the wavelength, C is the light of speed, and F is the frequency. Now, in the WDM technique, whatever the source or stations are there, you can see here, there is a source and stations, different optical signals will be produced. By using the multiplexer, but again the same procedure will be followed. This source 1, 2, 3 and n sources will be transmitted simultaneously. And in the multiplexing technique, over the shared medium, this lambda 1, 2, lambda 2 and this space is called as a guard band. Guard band is again the same work procedure will be there. That is, this is the optical signal separations. Whatever the optical signals are traveling over a shared medium, then this particular guard band will be used. Fine. So, WDM is same as it is your FDM technique. In the FDM technique, we are transmitting the frequency, or you can say you are allocated frequencies or bandwidth to all the signals. And now, in this particular WDM technique, the particular sources or the stations are having a messages like the, and the signals are traveling as an optical signals will be there. All the optical signals are there, or the light signals are there, and these optical signals are, whatever these optical signals are separated by the guard bands, and guard bands are again the unused frequency. Suppose that you have a frequency like this. If I am saying that is the lambda 1 is the 1 hertz and the lambda 2 is the 2 kilohertz and the lambda 3 is the 4 hertz. Suppose, then at that moment, if I am asking about the what will be the guard band value or what will be the totality of the frequency. If I am saying the guard band value is 1 hertz, fine. So, you can see here that is a lambda 1. First is the lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3 will be transmitted, and the guard band is 1 hertz, guard band is 1 hertz. So, totality of this lambda 1 is the 1 and the guard band is 1 and lambda 2 is 2. And the guard band is 1 and the lambda 3 is 4 plus 1. This is the total frequency traveling over the shared medium. Even though guard band is always, that is what? It can be a 9 hertz, and this guard band is always the unused frequency. And if I demand the what will be the value of the carrier frequency is always greater than the totality of all the frequencies traveling over the signal. See, this is the WDM. Now, the main WDM operation, just like the FDM, number of sources generated the optical signals, and these optical signals are traveling over a shared medium. Next is your time division multiplexing. In the time division multiplexing, you can see here in the FDM technique, what are actually using the FDM technique, frequencies are there, and the WDM there is a optical signals are there. But in the time division signal, frequency or bandwidth is at the same for all multiple signal, but there is a all stations having a different time slots are there. So, there is a different time slots are occupied by the different stations, those who are transmitting the signals or messages. So, in the time division multiplexing, you can see here there is a input lines are there. These are the input values, and then there is a channels. Fine. This is a single channel or a shared medium, because the multiplexing technique is what? Multiplexing means there is a multiple signals are traveling over a shared medium, and this shared medium, or you can say the channel, is traveling, and there is a demultiplexer is there. So, what will be the TDM? Time division multiplexing. In this, all the stations having a different time slots will be there. All the time slots are there, and these time slots are, by using this, we are sharing the channel. Now, these are the two types, that is a synchronous and asynchronous time division multiplexing. In the synchronous time division, we are allocating statistically the time slots to every station, and there is a asynchronous time division multiplexing is also there. Fine. So now in the synchronous stadium, just imagine in your class, I am allocating that the roll number 1 having this particular seat, roll number 2 having this particular seat, roll number 3. And if the roll number 1 is absent, so at that moment, this roll number 1 seat will be vacant and no one can sit there. This is the synchronous stadium. Means in the synchronous stadium, all stations having a different time slots are there. They are generating their messages, and there is a whatever the number of stations, the total number of stations having denoted by the different time slots. Suppose that this is the frame 1. Fine. In the frame 1, there is a time slots. How you are generating the time slots? That is a 1, 2, 3 stations. So that's why there is a 3 time slots will be there. If there is a n number of stations, if suppose that there is a n number of station of your network, so there is a n number of slots will be there. Fine. Now, suppose that first A system or a station is transmitting the message A, and the B system transmitting this one, and the C is transmitting this. Or you can say, suppose I am saying this value generating A1, A2 and A3, and it generated B1 and B2 and it generated C1. And the computer name is A, B and C. Suppose A system is generated A1, A2 and A3. At that moment, there is a 3 time slots are there. Fine. So, in the synchronous stadium, all time slots are restricted for the specific station. If this first slot is specified by the A only, if the A having no frames or no messages is there, then this particular time slot will be vacant. But no one can transmit in this particular time slot. Fine. So, here there is a A1, there is a next is the B1, and there is a C. In the next time frame, what will happen is there is a A1, B1 and C1 is there. Next is the B1 and B2. This is for the A2, means for the station A. And C1 having no particular frame in this particular time. So, this C slot will be vacant. And then for the next, there is a, next is the A3, but the B3 is not present and the C3 is not present. Then these two bandwidth will be discarded, or you can say this particular is misused, this particular places. For in the synchronous stadium, always all the stations having a assigning the different time slots, but different time slots are statistically defined. Means this particular stations, if I am assigning this slot for the A, station A, then no one can transmit in this particular segment. Fine. This is the synchronous. So, this can be a drawback also, because so many time slots will be not utilized. So, in this particular example, you can see over here, if the first station A transmitting A1 and the second station B, C, D and E. A, B, C, D, E stations are there. A generating the frame A1, B generating the frame B1 and B2, and there is a D2 and D1 and E2 is there. Fine. So, because there is a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 stations are there. So, that's why we are creating the 5 time slots will be there. Fine. The first is for reserved for the A1 only. The first is the A1 and the second having a B1, and next C is not there. So, C will be blank and the D1 is there and the E1, and the next will be E1 is not there. So, generally you are saying this one. Okay. So, there is a this time slot and this time slot is not utilized. Again, the same value will be, again the 5 time slots will be there, and this time slots A2 is not there. So, this particular will be vacant. Next is the B2. So, the B2 is there. C is not there. C1, C2, C3, C3 is not there, any frame not there. Then the C will be vacant. Next the D. Next is the D2 is there, and next is the E2. So E2 will be there. Fine. So again, there is a restriction for that particular slots. This is the synchronous TDM. Now, the main disadvantage of the synchronous TDM is that the capacity of complete channel is not fully utilized, because there is some vacant places are also there. No? So that's why it is not fully utilized, or whatever the transmitted we are using the data that having the, if there is no data is there, so that particular slots will be vacant or a free that time. No one can transmit in this particular slots. That is the main disadvantage of the synchronous TDM. So that's where there is a term as an asynchronous TDM. Asynchronous or the statistical TDM. Statistical TDM is again the time division multiplexing, where the output frame collects data from the input where then it is still full. When it is full, then next slot will be there. There is no restrictions for the time slots assigning to the different stations. Fine. So in the asynchronous TDM, suppose A, B, C, D is there, and in this particular time, A is generated the data A1 and these three are idle. Fine. So at that moment, we are generating by default, there is no dependency about the time frame slots with the particular stations. Fine. So at that moment, suppose we are generating the 3 time slots. At the first time slot, A1 is there and the others are idle, and the C having the time frame is C1. So I am generating only the A1 and C1, B, D, and again these are not for the separated, for a vacant values. So in this particular option, you can see here, suppose that A, B, C, D and E. The same procedure will be followed. There is in the first A1 is there, next is the B1 is there, and the C1 is not there. Now in this particular time, C1 is not there. C1 is not generating any frame. At that moment, C1 is idle. That's okay. This particular place is not vacant, just like the synchronous TDM. Now, this particular place is filled by the D1. Fine. Next, there is a E2 is there. So, in this particular time, if the E2 is not there, fine. You can see here, there is a E2, but the E1 is not present. That is okay. Again, you are going to the next A2 slot. Search out. Next is the B2. So, just you have to next B2. And next is the D2. And next you can fill here as an E2. These type of values. Here I am taking 5 slots. And in this particular example, it is only taking the 3. That's why here A1, B1 and D1 and B2, D2 and E2 is there. This is the simple statistical TDM. So, in the statistical TDM, if you are seeing a simple example, for the statistical TDM, there is a particular, suppose, there is a 3 stations, fine. These 3 stations are generating different frames. A1, A2, B1, B2, B3 and C1. Suppose, these stations are generating the frames. There is a multiplexer and the channel is there. In this particular time, I am taking the 3 time frame slots. Fine. This 3 time frame slot, first is for the A1 and the second is for the B1 and next is the C1. Fine. Next is there A2 and B2 and the C2 is not present. Fine. C2 is not present. That is okay. You are again going to here. Fine. C2 is not present. Na? There is a C2 is missing. That is okay. C2 is not missing. You are finding out the A3. A3 is not there. Then you are finding out the B3. Just you have to write out. So that the fully utilization of your time slots or the bandwidth. Full capacity of the channel will be utilized by using the particular time division multiplexing by using the statistical TDM. So the main difference between the asynchronous and synchronous TDM is that many slots in the synchronous TDM are utilized, but in asynchronous TDM slots are fully utilized, and this leads to the smaller transmission on the time and the efficient utilization of the capacity of the channel. Fine. So this is the main difference between the TDM and asynchronous TDM. Now, thank you.